Hi guys! This month we are focusing on leash skills. So, most people who have dogs also have to walk their dogs on leashes. There are, of course, exceptions to this rule if you live in different environments. I live in northern rural Wisconsin, so there actually are quite a few people here who aren't used to walking their dogs on leash because if they live out in the country, their daily walks might happen without leashes. So they're only really using leashes when they go into town, if they take their dogs into town. However, if you are someone who lives in a city with your dog, then leash walks are primarily the way that they are getting their exercise. And it is very important that they're able to walk calmly or at least comfortably with you on the leash without yanking your arm off. Because, of course, we have safety issues if your dog is pulling towards traffic or pulling after a squirrel or trying to get at another dog or cat or whatever. So we do need to work, of course, on those leash skills. Look, leash skills have to be introduced and practiced inside in a low distraction environment before they are ever taken outside. And that is because you can't teach a new skill with all of the distractions that are outside. It's going to be really hard to teach your dog to walk well next to you if there's a squirrel over there, there's a dog barking there, there's a siren, and there's all this stuff, right? So we need to start to introduce these skills in a low distraction environment. And we want to keep it simple and fun. Today, we are going to introduce 3 simple ways to start the process of leash training for your dog. And they're all going to be simple and they're all going to be fun. And that is the point. We want you and your dog to be successful this week. These are just foundational games, but they're so powerful. So the first one is going to be all about just building attention. Because look, we can't have loose leash walking and good leash skills unless we have at least a bit of attention from your dog. So the first one we're going to teach is a way to build their attention. And the second 2 are all about kind of position and movement. So one is going to be a pattern, a 1, 2, 3, and we're going to start with that stationary and then we're going to start moving with it. And then the last one is going to be follow the leader or catch me if you can, which involves a lot of fast movement and fun movement and ways to kind of move that keep your dog guessing and keep them very interested in what you are doing. So this is an engagement game. This is all about building attention. So all I'm doing is marking with a yes the moment she looks at me and then tossing a treat for her to go find. And we just repeat. It is that simple. And I try to keep it lively and fun. So I'm moving around in between. Sometimes I go really fast paced. I'm, of course, keeping it fun. I'm smiling. I'm keeping it light. And it's becoming really fun for her to go find a treat and then quickly as possible look back up at me. This is a fantastic way to build attention and just boost that engagement. It's also a good way to kind of check in with your dog if you're in a distracting environment to see if they're ready to start looking at you and working with you. So this next one is a pattern game, and it is a very simple game. It is 1, 2, 3, and they always get a treat after 3. So what I'm starting with here is saying 3 and giving a treat, and I'm just repeating that until she becomes really quick at looking at me when she hears 3. And then I'm adding a 2, 3, and I do that for a little while. And then, of course, I have 1, 2, 3, and I give a treat. And I do it stationary until she's really confident and quick at looking at me for 3, and then I start adding movement. So here I'm moving. I am counting 1, 2, 3, and giving her a treat. Kind of changing the way that I'm moving, but the treat is always happening right after 3 at my side. That she can count on. That is always predictable. And this last game is really fun. It is Catch Me If You Can, or you can call it Follow the Leader. We're having a lot of fun here. Aria is young. She's just turned 1 year old. So she will get bored with me if I don't keep it interesting. So that's why I'm mixing up my pace, and I encourage you to as well. So you are moving around. You're simply moving, and as soon as she catches you, yay, you give her a treat. Move quick, move slow, move a little bit, move a lot. Maybe hide behind something. That's how you play. So here I'm moving really slow and I give a treat. And then I move the other direction and I get a treat. Yes, and I move backwards and I move forwards. So that's the idea. All of this is about keeping it fun and reinforcing engagement. And that's what we do. And of course, we keep it fun. Look, now we're going to play for a while because that is equally as important. Play, play, play. A bonus is to teach your dog to come to a certain side on cue. So you can teach a left, you can teach a right, you can teach a with me, you can call it close, you can even call it heel if you want. But essentially what this cue means is directional. It reminds your dog to come join you at your side and walk with you. And the way you're going to train it is to simply lure your dog into position at your side and reinforce them when they're there. Throw a treat away, tell them okay, they get to walk away. And then do it again, lure them back into position, say your cue, give them a treat, and then okay, and do it again. So it's that simple. You could also use a hand target if your dog has that, to get them into position. And the way you would do that is just hold your hand at your side, have them target as soon as they're in position. Yes, treat, and then toss a treat away so that you can reset. So it is that simple. Remember that when we're first teaching a behavior, we don't want to use too many words. We also don't want to use the word that we're using to cue it long term right away. So we want to get them in the process of using their bodies in that way, and then we put it on cue. That's it, guys. I look forward to seeing you guys progress with your leash training the rest of the month and then the rest of the year. Leash skills tend to be an ongoing process, and that's totally okay. Specifically, I'm talking about puppies and adolescents and young dogs because it's easy to forget when you're young and there are smells and dogs and exciting things everywhere. So don't lose your patience. It can be really easy to get really frustrated. Don't worry. Lighten up. Say, hey, you know what? This walk was not great. If you have a bad walk, and that's okay. Plan better, do better next time. It's okay. It's okay. It's a work in progress. The more you practice, the more you build engagement and interest in moving with you, the better that leash walking is going to get. So, happy training.